You don't have to do the necessary work. You can fail at this. You can plan to fail if you want. Hey, thanks for taking the time to watch this. You have so many different options, and here we are again. Thanks for hanging out with me. So let's learn this. Let's practice it. Most people make the mistake of learning the theory and then just not practicing it. What's the point? So now that you know the theory, let's practice, rehearse, get in some reps, master the information, and make it our own. Let's even move towards excellence. Can you imagine in your profile, you say, I value the woman who knows enough to grieve her relationships when they end, rather than jumping back into dating too soon. I value her when she lets things ripen organically rather than forcing them. So think about what you're doing. Instead of complaining, you're talking about what you value and what you need. I value her when she lets things ripen organically rather than forcing them. I like when she can express herself directly and literally, as well as use figurative language like writers and poets. I hold at a premium the woman who has developed her ability to be kind during conflict instead of throwing elbows. The woman who gets that men and women tend to have some stereotypical differences and can navigate those, asking for what she wants instead of complaining, and graciously receiving. The woman who knows how to negotiate so that it's a win-win without either of us throwing ourselves or our partner under the bus. That's so valuable. So think about what you just did in that profile. You just challenged her in a very loving way, in a very subtle way, to be an adult. A lot of people in the dating world are not adults. Their bodies might be adult aged, but they are not thinking in a mature, seasoned fashion. So you're calling somebody out saying, here's what I'm looking for in an ideal person. It's somebody who's healthy and emotionally stable. Now, you're doing it with signals, which is really subtle, and people appreciate that. Part of what relationships do for us is they help us heal. They help us grow up. If, and only if, we're willing to do the work. What does that mean, do the work? People who value and understand relationships know that there is necessary work to build the foundation rather than rush things. All right, Don, what on earth does this have to do with flirting? Well, in flirting, you're learning her. You're expressing interest in her. I am interested in learning more about you. You fascinate me. When I find something that intrigues me, I follow up. When you find something that's not attractive, flirting becomes more challenging. Do you call attention to it in a serious manner? Do you flirt through it? Do you tease about it in a loving, playful manner? Do you playfully bring it up or get all serious and we need to talk about this? Women love when the man is strong enough, secure enough in himself that he can challenge her. Might not always look like she appreciates it, but they do love it. When they come to my office, they talk about this all the time. Hey, challenge me? I'm probably going to get a little bit defensive. I still want you to challenge me. If you're not strong enough to challenge me, you're not my person. When she's wrong, if he lets her get away with it and doesn't say anything, she sees him as a wimp. You're too weak to challenge me? You're not going to be good for me. So how do you do this with playfulness? I like the nickname Parfait. I was watching Shrek and, onions have levels and all that kind of stuff. Or not levels, layers. I'm going to call you Parfait. That's your new nickname. Why Parfait? Because you have layers. It was going to be onion, but I don't want to cry around you. Anyway, you got layers, and she's going to ask about the layers. You lovingly, gently point out what's getting in the way of a successful relationship. Why Parfait, though? Because parfaits are sweet. The way you threw elbows so quickly in that discussion reminded me of an MMA fight, not a discussion. Parfait, you know that's something that won't work if this is going to be a healthy relationship. What I need from you is to get a handle on that. We can talk about difficult things and still be kind. We can still get it resolved like that. Hey, are you okay? Are you okay? Or, dude, what just happened there? 1 minute we're getting along, next minute something came out of nowhere and derailed us. Hey, in the future, I want to be able to talk about that in a conversation without it going code red. Or if it goes code red, maybe give some warning, like code orange comes before that. But out of nowhere, that doesn't work for me. Or, if you want to be my girlfriend, we can't argue with that level of drama. That could have been resolved in a few sentences, so I'm a little disappointed in us. Didn't need to go there. I don't fight like that. And I know you can talk instead of fight when that happens. Hey, let's work together so that happens, because that wasn't cool. Imagine the courage that it takes to say what just came out of my mouth. Hey, not everybody wants to do the necessary work. Grieving the ex, building their bravery and courage, truly letting the ex go, managing anger enough to be kind during basic conflict, committing to being emotionally stable, growing as a person. Not everybody wants to do that. You know, those are actually the most accurate predictors of a healthy long-term relationship. And if people aren't willing to do the things that are the most accurate predictors, yeah, you got it. People who look inside themselves have courage. I appreciate that about you. You know how valuable it is to be brave and tolerate discomfort. Sexy as hell. You can go within and deal with it and not be reactive. I value that. So imagine saying that to her. She knows exactly what you're looking for. No guesswork, no ambiguity. So now, let's change. Imagine saying or texting this to her. Think about the guys that you've dated and what you've liked. So you're evoking feelings. How you felt when you were first with them. What did you do internally to create those feelings? All right, so you're not a counselor. I know I am, but you're not a counselor. You're asking them, what did you do internally to create those feelings? You're teaching her that feelings do not happen to us. We create our feelings. Victims let life happen to them. Other people create their feelings. You can choose to be a victim. It's your choice. It's 100% a choice on that one. If life is happening to you, you have chosen a mindset that will victimize you repeatedly. If you want to be a victim, keep thinking that life happens to you and that you don't create your feelings. You can be a victim. You absolutely can be a victim. It's your choice. Imagine continuing the text like this. For the ones that got away, what stories did you tell yourself about him? Did he smell good, sound good, look good? Did he tell good stories, do exciting things? Did he treat you like gold? Was he more of a lover than a friend? Was he honestly a good predictor and a good prospect for a long-term healthy relationship? Was he willing and able to listen and emotionally connect? Was he kind during conflict with you? Was he loyal? Was he emotionally stable? And how about you? When you knew it was over, did you stay and try too long? How much of it was real versus in your head? Were you honest with yourself and your own room for improvement? And by the way, what have you learned about yourself from that? So again, you just totally went into counseling world, didn't you? I can do that in a counseling session. Imagine doing that with your significant other. You are challenging them to really face their reality. People don't always like that. People get really stinking defensive sometimes when you do that. Are you somebody who has the courage and the bravery to stand up and challenge their thinking? So stop yourself right now. Stop what you're doing. Are you listening? Good. All right. Play that again. Listen to it again. Or here, I'll repeat it for you. But first, rehearse your words. In the moment, you will bring nothing was planned. The moment's hard. So don't just use mine, or maybe you can use mine to memorize over your own version and repeat it often enough that you can quote it and use it in the appropriate situation. You want to be able to challenge people, but you're not there. You might not be somebody who's quick on their feet and processes fast. So have a couple of these things memorized so you can respond more quickly to what they do. Look, humans don't always behave, so be prepared for it. Here, I'm going to say it again. People who look inside themselves have courage. I appreciate that about you. You know how valuable it is to be brave and to tolerate discomfort. That's sexy as hell. You can go with it. You can deal with it, and you're not reactive. I really value that about you. So you're challenging her, especially if she's grieving her ex or she's comparing you to an ex. Think about this challenge to her. About the guys that you dated, what you liked, how you felt when you were first with them. What did you do internally to that stands by itself. What did you do to create those feelings? Again, you're challenging her to get the connection, get the pattern that you create your feelings. That's so simple. You can follow up or not. But once it got away, what stories did you tell yourself about her? What stories are you telling yourself? Stories in your head that you create the way you're doing. Emotionally connect, especially on that one. Most guys
this is part of the resort, and I'm here for a conference. It's 3 miles to Animal Kingdom, and this resort is just massive. It's pretty fun to look at all the different amenities that they have here, and that it's so close to Disney. So I could be doing my conference while the family is over at Disney, or you can just stay here for a day or two, because there's definitely enough to do. So here's the lazy river, in addition to the 4 pools, hot tub 1, hot tub 2. I don't know if you can see how fast the water is going, but it's pushing people along. And there's the hotel. There's the conference center attached. So it's a big square. It took me about an hour to walk all the way around the entire perimeter.
She's probably looking at him and why did he cheat? Why was he talking to other women? Why was he doing what he did? And then ask her, so you're challenging her, when you knew it was over, did you stay and try too long? Most women talk about staying in the relationship way after it's done. I knew early on that it wasn't going to work, but I figured I'd give it a try. So you knew it wasn't going to work. Deep in your heart, you knew it wasn't going to work. You overrode your gut instinct, and you stayed in it even though you knew it wasn't going to work. Ooh, that's torturous. You can further challenge her. How much of it was real versus in your head? Were you honest with yourself about your room for improvement? And then to end, hey, what did you learn about yourself from that experience? So is that flirting? Because it doesn't feel like flirting. What you're doing, though, is leveling the playing field. You know what she's doing in her head. She's comparing you to her exes. You want to make sure that it's fair. You want to show that you feel secure enough to challenge her and risk losing her. You're also letting her know that you have social intelligence and you know how to do emotion. Imagine the woman who's never had a guy call her out. All right, this can sound bad. I have found that my most attractive women clients rarely get called out. Rarely. People don't challenge their thinking, and then they meet me in the counseling session. Hey, I'm kind and loving and gentle, and I'm good about it, but I'm like a dog with a bone. I'm going to be loving, but I'm also strict. The message that I'm giving is that behavior is not acceptable. Stop doing it. I'm more gentle than that. So are you like every other guy out there? Or are you strong and direct with her? One guy interpreted that as me saying that he should call her a bitch. Nope, not even close to what I'm saying. Nope. Not name calling, not being emotionally abusive. Nope. You are saying that you don't like her current behavior. You might even be like, hey, are you okay? And you're asking her to be the better version of who she is, calling out the better parts of who she is. I'm not going to shrink from her when she misbehaves. I'm not going to pretend I didn't see that. I saw that. That's not acceptable. Yeah, but you might lose her. Hey, if she behaves like that, we're not going to make it. I'm not going to run away, but I'm also not going to be abusive. I certainly won't let it go unchallenged. At this point, it's not the right timing to say that you don't tolerate that behavior and will leave if it continues, right? That's a little bit too direct. And usually you want to give a couple warnings before you warrant that discussion. If it's so bad that it's a red flag, you don't really need to talk about it that much. So I challenge other people, but I also challenge myself. So ask yourself, am I truly ready to date again? Do I have unfinished business that I need to resolve before I go back in there? And then how do I practice all of this? I'm a big one on visualization. If you've heard any of my other videos, you'll notice that I do visualization a lot. So visualize yourself doing the work and becoming a better version of you, really going deep into yourself and figuring yourself out. Why do I do what I do? How do I get the courage? I got the skills. That's nice. But how do I get the courage to use the skills that I need to? Picture the two of you going to counseling to learn good conflict theory, or going to my website and downloading articles on conflict and practicing conflict before you need it. That's when you practice before you need the conflict skills. Like a sport, practice, 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 and then when you need them, you know how to use those skills. When you visualize, feel the feelings. You do difficult things. You are doing the difficult work of preparing yourself. You deal with uncomfortable things because you are a grown-up. Kids avoid, grown-ups face things. You are doing the difficult work of challenging your partner when something is wrong. You don't avoid difficult conversations. You're somebody with courage. Cowards avoid the necessary conflict. Brave people face them. You're no coward. If, in the past, you've not stepped up to the plate, redeem yourself by doing it now. Yep, choose your battles, but know that most men avoid conflict with their partner. Not a good choice. Their partners hate the childish feelings that come with that. Imagine conflict just being as simple as, hey, I don't like when you, and then fill in the blank. Hey, it doesn't land well when you said, it hurt when you said, or even challenging could be, hey, are you okay? If she's coming at you loaded for bear and you say, hey, are you okay? I'm concerned about you. Hey, we're better than this. I feel like this is something we need to face together. So that's what you're practicing, and every time you practice this, you see yourself practicing it correctly. That is the process visualization. You always see yourself succeeding, which is the goal visualization. When I don't have enough time to do a lot of reps of process, I focus on seeing myself win the race or successfully implement the skill and it goes my way. All right, so visualize yourself. You're dressed the way that you feel confident. Your posture is confident, and your confidence is not dependent on the outside forces. You are the one in charge of how confident you feel. Be brave by practicing standing up, confronting when it's needed. We never avoid necessary conflict. Nothing from the outside has to affect you unless you want it to affect you. You are in control of what comes into your bubble. So you're smelling good, you look good, the conversation's going well. You see yourself doing this skill at a level of excellence. You get the results that you want. See, that's a visualization right there. We just did it. So you picture it, you feel the feelings of it going well. Your brain doesn't know whether it happened in reality or just inside your brain. So the next time you need it, you already have at least one repetition. Want to maximize this? Look through that video again in your head. Make sure you feel the feelings. That's incredibly important. You can say something simple for confrontation. It can even be conversational. It doesn't have to be overwhelming to confront or have conflict. Doing the work of looking inside yourself and making necessary changes, that's rewarding, and it requires courage. Are you someone who has courage and wants to develop it even more? All right, so you're in flow. Your posture, your voice, your humor, they're perfect. The video's in color, high def, surround sound, and the confidence is just out of hand. Your visualization is making your confidence higher, making it more likely that you're going to follow through with the behavior. You're leaning into the fun, the playfulness, into the confidence. Good. Any fear is just evaporating. So imagine doing 100 reps, paying attention to emotions. Then when it comes time to do it in reality, you are unstoppable. You're in control of your emotions, your confidence. Confidence is not contingent on their approval, their acceptance. Confidence is not dependent on outside influence. No matter what happens around you, confidence is your state. Confidence does not rely on an outcome. So you rehearsed it, mastered it, You're moving towards excellence. It's worth the practice, and the practice feels good. So imagine if we all were better at dating. What impact could that have? If we tried to not hurt one another and played by similar rules so everyone understood what was happening, and we eliminate the guesswork and the mind reading. Please hit like and subscribe. It helps me spread the message of good, respectful dating that changes the culture of dating. Want more resources? Check out boyscounseling.com.